wonderful people! Today I'm bringing to your attention a basic and a simple aspect of astrology that should be incorporated into each of our lives. Why? Well, because when my clients or I have ignored this aspect, I've always found that the simplest of plans or initiatives started within this time frame have always brought results way different to that of what I or they had hoped for or expected. And having tested this out over many years, I feel it's important to underline it for you. So, if you're not already aware of the aspect of moon void, of course, then it's important that you know a little bit more about it so you can use it as you wish. Firstly, I'll explain in simple terms the meaning of moon void, of course. Now, within any period of any 1 month, which is around the 27 to 28 day mark, the moon completes an orbit around the Earth. During this time, the moon is consistently moving forwards through each of the 12 astrological signs, one by one. And by the end of any 1 month, it will have done the entire circuit of the 12 signs. Now, the movements and changes of the moon has effects upon our subconscious minds, and in turn, the subconscious is aware of planetary changes, changes in the universe, and a lot more besides, but especially transitions of the moon. The moon also affects positively or not our hidden emotions and all that is under the surface. It's all responsive to moon changes. So in any 1 month, the moon will enter and remain in each astrological sign for about 2 to 2.5 days, roughly, before moving on to the next one. So, let's just hold it there a second. The moon void, or the moon void of course, is the period of time when the moon begins its departure from one sign that it is in to being fully present in the next sign that it's going into. That space, that transit time frame, or that period from departure from one to entry into the next sign is the void period. Now, the sun, on the other hand, moves signs every 28 to 30 days, completing its full circuit in 12 months, which, as you know, is the year. But the moon moves a lot quicker than that. It goes through the 12 signs every 2.5 days, completing its circuit, as I said, within 27.32 days. For example, say that we're in the month of May, say we're at May 22nd. The sun will be in the sign of Gemini, and it will remain there for the entire month until it goes into the next sign. But in that period, the moon will have transited every few days through all the signs, whilst the sun's remained in the one sign. As the moon moves from one sign into the next, that in-between period of transit is called the moon void, of course, as I've mentioned. And it is exactly that, a period of void. However, it is not a period of empty space or a hole that's unexplainable in the moon's orbit. Let me explain. Because the moon orbit is like a full, complete, unending circle of 360 degrees to each full orbit. So each of the 12 signs will incorporate 30 degrees of the 360. 30 degrees times 12 equals one full orbit, equals 360 degrees in total. So there's no holes in the system. All movement of the moon is within that 360 degrees, even the void of moon. Now, further to this, as the moon nestles into each sign for 2 to 3 days, that particular astrological sign showers upon each one of us in different ways that sign's own flavour, its energy, or its story. It unravels upon our existence or our life at that time of the month for the period that the moon is in that sign, until it moves to the next sign 2.5 days later or so, and then another story ebbs in, and so on. So for example, say the moon is in Cancer or transiting through Cancer, to then go on and roughly decipher the effect upon us on a general level of Moon in Cancer would be to first look at what the Moon governs, and that is our internal structure, our emotions, feelings, our deeper being. Yes, our emotions have long been portrayed in terms of water, fluidity, or the sea, and all of these are very fluid, momentous, churning from within, such as mood swings, instincts, how we feel about things and how we feel about others. These are all affected by the Moon. And as the Moon so affects the tides of the sea, which are very fluid, so it affects what is fluid within us humans. Secondly, look at and address the characteristics of Cancer, because we're looking at Moon in Cancer. So let's look at Cancer, which represents intuition, psychic ability, the home, the father figure, family, emotions, that hard exterior outer front of an individual to the retreat of the safety of some haven within, like its sign, the crab, hard outer shell, soft in the middle. Thirdly, put it all together. So the Moon will draw out from within us, in some way, some of the characteristics of Cancer. But remember, the outcomes which I've explained are very individual and specific to one person, and no two outcomes will be the same. And then, going on from there, the Moon void, of course, is where all that, which I've explained, is as if it's on hold, because the Moon is not fully in any particular sign, so not a lot transpires until the Moon places itself fully in the next sign. And after Cancer, that would be Leo. Okay, let me tell you why the Moon void, of course, is so important to all of us. Okay, the void period has been noted to give the effect of nothing much will change, nothing huge will happen, transpire or transform. It is, as I said, a period of void. It is a period which will not yield a great response from the universe for any efforts placed out there in the time frame of Moon void, of course. Now you may be wondering, well, what relevance is this to me or anyone? Well, let me enlighten you with some examples. Times where I've had important meetings which I look back on and realised I had set them in a Moon void period, and that was the likely cause as to why they had not yielded anything much for me, or things hadn't moved forward, or the process had ended up not going great for me at all. And this is not what I wanted. On the other hand, where I didn't want major outcomes or repercussions, such as dropping a bombshell to a friend or a family member or a superior, where I've wanted little or no repercussion, I placed it in a Moon void period. And what do you know? It worked! Another example that stands out quite powerfully for me is a friend of mine had to tell her partner that she had lied about how his car had got damaged, but she was really afraid that it would be the end of their relationship because he had caught her out lying many times. Not good, I know, but hey ho, I gave her the guidance to speak to him in the next Moon void. And what do you know? Sure as you know it, his responses and the overall outcome actually was not the nightmare that she had thought. And I was actually very surprised. So, the void of Moon can be used to your advantage. But remember, if and when you want a favourable outcome, for example, if you've got an important meeting or an interview that you want things to move forward with, or another good one is if you're cosmic ordering, then please do not, whatever you do, put it in the time frame of Moon void, of course. just to recap, okay, those of you that are brand new to this will find it easy to understand that ecliptic cycle of the moon through this diagram here. The Earth is represented by that green sphere, and the moon, which circles around the Earth, is represented by the black sphere, going from a new moon all the way round to a waxing moon, which is the full moon here, and then it starts to wane, which means it starts to diminish in its size, going back to a new moon. This entire cycle, 360 degrees, takes approximately 27 to 28 days, where the moon in that period goes through each of the astrological signs, whereas the sun will go through one. Its ecliptic cycle lasts a year. However, the moon lasts every 2.5 days in each of the signs. It allows you to better place your efforts. For example, if you're pushing forward on work, times when the moon is in Virgo, Capricorn and Taurus could be very beneficial for work. For times for advancement or changes around the home, that is best placed around the time of Cancer, when the moon is in Cancer. If you're looking for some sort of advancement on psychic development, then the time of Pisces is great for that, and so on and so forth. If you want any more information on when to best place your efforts, do get in touch with me. Also remember here, the time where the moon leaves one sign and before it enters the next, that is your void of moon. I hope that explains that ecliptic cycle of the moon that happens every month. Basically, plan things. Look ahead and place timings of important events and try to set beneficial stuff that you want an outcome for outside of void periods. Simple as that. Well, I hope that enlightens you to think more deeply about timings of various efforts that you put out to the universe. And if you have any questions, you can always email me on admin@skysilverstone.com. For more beneficial updates and stuff, join up, subscribe to my videos and join up to my Facebook media page. It's free, go for it, you've got nothing to lose. And don't forget to catch me live on screen every week. I'm loving answering your questions and supporting you all live on TV. Stay tuned, more videos coming up soon. See you soon.